Have you ever told yourself, I'll just put that goal on hold, or I'll do it when the kids are older? Me too. Motherhood does change everything, but that doesn't mean that we need to wipe away our ambition or make it smaller. It is possible to do both, even if it takes longer than it would do without kids. I think it's really important for mums to learn how to both honour their family and themselves with their goals and see how you can make them work together, rather than just putting everything on hold until your kids are much older, because there's so much time in there that you will have missed. Hi, I'm Rihanna. I am a coach who helps perfectionist mums with their changing identities to embrace the changes that motherhood brings in their life and to set goals and systems to help have a smoother, calmer family life. As mums, we're constantly told we can't have it all, and then we start believing that. Society really values the mum that sacrifices everything, does everything for their kids, not the ambitious mum. And it is possible to be better. It's so easy to internalize the guilt and start feeling selfish for wanting to have your own goals and dreams, because you feel like you should be giving everything to your kids and leaning into that motherhood martyrdom. But that really isn't the best way to show that your kids that you have a life and that they can have the life that they dream of as well. Exhaustion, lack of time, lack of childcare can really make it easy to think, I'll do that later, I'll put it off. And the perfectionism inside us makes us think, well, if I can't do it perfectly, then why should I do it at all? And that's a problem, because you start to lose a sense of who you are, who your identity is, and your sense of self. And that can lead to becoming extremely lonely and very isolated. And that's just not good for anyone. Equally, resentment can start building up in the household with family and friends. And your kids don't get to see that excited part of you where you show them what they can do. Shrinking your goals doesn't make your life easier. It just makes your life smaller. So I just want to let you know that ambition is not selfish. It's completely normal and reasonable and something that we should all have. And it's not something we should pretend we don't, even if we are mums. And your goals don't need to compete with your motherhood. You can work with them together. And there is a way to do this that means you can sort of balance everything. Now, I do hate the word balance, because I don't think balance in the way most people think of it is possible. I don't think in one day you can cover all the areas of your life, but I think balance is possible in the sense of perhaps one day you have a more of a work focused day, and then the next day you then spend a lot more time with your kids. Not to say you don't spend any of the day before, but you just have to have different focuses at different times, and then overall, perhaps over a week, you try and make sure that each area of your life is seen to. And obviously if your kids need you more, you will do that. There's no guilt here. So the question isn't, can I do it all? It's, how do I honour my family and my dreams? So the way I like to do this is, a lot of the time we may have one big goal, like setting up a business. It could be starting to do a run. Maybe you're into marathons or 10Ks or something like that. Or maybe it's a project at home, something you want to do in the house. Whatever that may be, write that down. And then what we're going to do is break that down into smaller projects, and then eventually down into tasks that are small enough to do in, say, less than half an hour, depending on the way it will work best with your life. So by breaking down our goal into much smaller pieces, it makes it much more manageable and something you will be able to fit into every day, even if it's just 5-10 minutes thinking about a problem in the shower. That's still progress. Another thing to consider is what feels right for this season. As mums, certain times of the year can be much busier. The lead up to Christmas, kids going back to school can be quite hectic, and depending on if you have childcare during the holidays, that may not be the best time to do the most work on your goal. Another thing to consider is delegating some things, whether that's asking your close family in your household to support you with different things. Perhaps that's going to be deciding to do grocery deliveries instead of going to the supermarket to get everything. Just see what takes up a lot of time in your life and what you may be able to switch and potentially outsource to someone, like getting a cleaner in, whatever's going to work for you and your family, depending on your situation. Protect your time for you. There's no reason we should be feeling guilty for wanting to work on our goals. I know for myself, even asking my husband to have the kids for an hour or two at the weekend, he would absolutely have no problem with that. And I still feel guilty doing it today. And it's something I'm working on. And I just want to say, we really shouldn't. What is an hour in a day? They're going to have a great time with their dad or whoever's in your life that they can play with. Just see if you can get a little bit extra support each week. Remember that guilt can be a sign of growth, and although it's not the best feeling, it can show that you're actually stepping outside of the conditioning that you have in your brain already. And you're not taking away from kids by pursuing your goals. You're showing them what's possible and that they can live a life like this when they're older. It's much more better to see a mum following her ambition rather than feeling resentful and never actually following through with something that she wants. It's okay for your children to see you prioritising some of your own goals sometimes. You're building a life for you and for them. So remember, it's not less important just because you're doing it slower and your pace isn't affecting your progress. You will get there, and your dreams are allowed to grow alongside your family. So I'd like to have a think, where have you been shrinking yourself and not following your dreams? What is it that, if you had a magic wand and would love to achieve, what would that be? If your goal is something you feel comfortable sharing in the comments, I would love to see what everyone's working on, or if you want to have a chat with me and just brainstorm or send me a voice note about what you're doing, I would love to know. I'm really nosy about people's goals. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you'd like to have more videos in the future from me. And remember, your kids will thank you one day for showing them what kind of life is possible.